We're gonna go ahead and change out this circulator pump. We're gonna install this Alpha 2 1555 circulator pump. You're gonna get 2 new gaskets and a check valve, and you're gonna also get a sticker. If you install the check valve, you're gonna want to put the sticker right on top of the display. So you put the check valve right here in the discharge side of the pump. You know the discharge is from the arrow, and centrifugal pumps, they always pull from the very bottom and in through the center of the pump. I'll just flip this up, and then I will take this check valve, slide it right into this hole here, and just press it in, just like that. Now that I installed the check valve, I'll take this little sticker and I'll stick it right here on the display. Just like that. First thing we want to do is make sure that all the power is turned off. Next, we're going to want to shut off any makeup water going into the boiler system. That way, as we're draining the pressure down to change this pump, we don't have new fresh water being put into the system. This system has glycol in it, so we definitely don't want to be putting water in the system. So we're going to drain the boiler water, and we're going to catch it in a bucket so that we can put it back into the system. Any isolation valves coming from the system we can isolate. It'll just speed up the process of draining it down without draining the whole system down. So like this unit heater here, we can go ahead and shut the valves off to that so we don't drain that and have to get the air back out. So just simple, just shut off the valves. You can shut off all the valves to the whole system if you prefer. Don't necessarily need to in this system because it's not an upstairs, it's just a downstairs only system, so we don't have a bunch of fluid upstairs going to drain down to us. Right now we're sitting at about 20 pounds of pressure. We have a drain back here on the bottom of the boiler. We'll just hook a hose up to that into a bucket. So I'm going to open this valve, and then I'm going to watch the pressure drain down to 0. We do not want to take this pump out until the pressure's dropped down to 0. We don't want to have any pressure on the pump when we loosen up the bolts. So we're going to have some pressure consistently coming out of the boiler because the expansion tank is going to be pushing the fluid out. So that's why it's important that we drain this to 0. So right now I'm just going to loosen the bolts, and then I'm going to take a screwdriver, put it in here, and just pry it apart so that we can get it to start leaking slow. There we go. We'll just let it drain down. Next, I'm going to take the old gaskets out. Gaskets already installed. We want to make sure that the direction of flow is correct. So we want to make sure the arrow is pointing in the direction you want the flow. And in this case, the supply coming out of the top of the boiler, it's going to go that direction, so we want the pump going that way. When you tighten these up, you want to make sure that the flange gasket is even on the bottom and the top. Next thing we're going to do is hook up the wiring. I'm just going to remove this cover. The nice thing about these pumps is they have a disconnect on the wiring here. You can just unplug it, and then you're able to do your wiring and then just replug it back in. We can hook up our electrical on the top or the bottom. I'll have to go get a new connector here so that we can make a straight connection in the bottom. We're going to connect our electrical on the bottom. So there's a little knockout plug. We'll just move this to the top, and it just closes off this hole so nothing can get in there. I'm going to go ahead and tuck these wires inside this electrical box, and then I can go ahead and plug this plug back to the motor. Just like that. Then I can put the cover back on it, and it all tucks nice and neat. Now what we're going to do is go ahead and pump up the system. I opened up this valve. We're going to turn the pump on. We're going to watch this pressure on the system come up. Now that we're under pressure, I can go ahead and open up some of these other valves. Just want to open the valves up nice and slow. Going to turn power back on. Then this pump should turn on as soon as the zone valve opens. The zone valve is calling now. Pump is on. It's sitting about 100, 120 degrees, about 18, 19 psi. Still gonna have a little bit of air in the system coming out. We want our system pressure between 12, 15 pounds is great. GPM at 13 watts on auto adapt. Nice thing about these pumps is I can change the speed 1, 2, and 3. Now we're running 43 watts, and then you can look at the GPM. Now we're running 3 GPM. We only have one zone calling, then we have constant pressure, and then we have auto adapt. Now we're running 4 GPM. So many systems you can just get away with putting it on auto adapt, and then it'll self-adjust whatever it needs. So thank you for watching this video. I hope it was helpful, and please stay tuned to more videos, and don't forget to subscribe.
And smash the like button if you like it.